Hey! Oops, sorry.
Oh. Hello again, and welcome.
Wow. These camera shots are real fancy.
That's right. Welcome to SportsCenter. It's the calm before the Game 7 storm, as that will be played Thursday night in Nashville between the Jets and Predators. In the meantime, we'll wet your whistle with baseball.
Yeah, and we'll get to the NBA in just a second. But
I gotta stop saying wet your whistle.
You don't like that one?
Now, what are we in the 20s?
Well, we are older. We're allowed to say wet your whistle.
I say it too much, though.
Okay, fair enough. Blue Jays, day after being no-hit by Canadian James Paxton, who is all smiles, facing the Mariners again. Top one. Already 1-0 M's. Nelson Cruz rips on a short. Lourdes Gurriel, terrific stab, fires home. Gene Segura's out. Gurriel saves a run with some great D. Lourdes, isn't that the name of Madonna's daughter?
And sang that song, Royals.
Oh, that's Lord.
Oh, okay.
Is Lord the one going out with Elon Musk?
No, that's Prism? Grimes?
Grimes?
Grimy.
No, it's not Grimes, is it?
Yep.
Okay. Teoscar Hernandez home run, and then Guillermo Heredia grounded to third. That's Russell Martin, first start of the year at the hot corner. This has been who Elon Musk is dating. Bottom 8, still down 2-1, yet Hervis Solarte shoots one to left. Double will score Josh Donaldson, and that will tie the baseball game. The next batter is the smoke monster. Over the head of Mitch Haniger.
We love you, Miss Haniger.
Dan just bought tickets to Annie. Solarte, who was lifted for a pinch runner, loving that. Upper still in the same inning, Luke Maley with a base hit to left. That'll score Martin. So Toronto with 4 runs and 6 hits in the 8th inning. Roberto Osuna obviously not pitching. Tyler Clippard on the close, and he strikes out Robinson Cano to end the ball game as the Jays rally for the 5-2 victory. And Craig Chambers, keep it down up there. One of our longtime producers making a ton of noise as he prepares for the CFL season.
He's crushing burritos.
Earlier Wednesday, the Jays made a minor trade, acquiring 26-year-old infielder Gio Urshela from Cleveland for cash considerations or a player to be named later. That player, Garth Orch.
Oh, it's my favorite Jay of all time. An MLS Cup final rematch in downtown Toronto Wednesday night. Seattle, Toronto, both now second last in their respective conferences. With a loss, Toronto would match their total for losses from all of last season. 35th minute, Javenko taken down outside the box, gets the call. Javenko's free kick is on target, off the post. Jay Chapman not ready for the rebound, hammers it over the net. In the 40th, Osorio ties it, his 6th goal in all competitions this season, 54. And Walla Moana just onside. The 18-year-old scores his first MLS goal. Frustration, 90th, after TFC picked up a foul on a corner. Javenko boots it into the stands. That's a yellow card. Toronto lose their 5th game of the season, matching last year's total. Vanny's post-game media conference started by him placing a phone on the table, showing the play.
There was a long pause in Michael Bradley's answer there. Marcus Morris, quick question. How much of a lead did your Boston Celtics have on Philadelphia going into Game 4 of your 2nd round series? Ah, that's right. You're up 3-0. Okay? One more question. This time for the horse with a sports jacket on. Did Boston complete the sweep? No, no, no. No, no, no. So, Game 5, Sixers still alive and eating grapes like a Roman gladiator. This is how you know life is good for Joel Embiid. That's like Hugh Hefner.
I go to the store, my grapes are never that good.
Bad grapes. Sour grapes. The Dan O'Toole story. Jason Tatum. The rookie scored 20+ in 6 straight. Watch the fake handoff by Ben Simmons. All of Simmons' field goals this series have come inside the paint late in the half. Embiid cannot hit. Tatum's got it. Tatum will finish. A 19-6 Boston Celtics run to close the half. We're going to the third quarter. Aaron Baines blows by Embiid. Embiid fouls Baines. After the call, he shoves Baines, and he gets a technical. Celts up 1 after 3. Drew Bledsoe, sporting a signed Terry Rozier jersey, trying to get the crowd going. Rozier initially sported a Bledsoe jersey because he mixed up Eric Bledsoe with Drew Bledsoe. At least he said he mixed them up. It's a long way of explaining that whole problem there, but all we know is Drew Bledsoe looks fantastic. Not a great high fiver, but he looks great. Celtics up 6. Embiid puts the Sixers up 4 now. Crunch time, Tatum. To Horford, Boston would tie it. Then with 30 seconds left, Marcus Smart will find Tatum. And Boston will retake the lead. Yes, the Sixers were up 4 with 90 seconds left in this thing. But Philly time to tie or take the lead. They're going to go to Embiid. Drives, lots of contact, doesn't get it to go, scramble, and it's out of bounds off his foot. Did Baines foul him? Either way, the Celtics, underdogs heading into the series without Gordon Hayward for the entire season and Kyrie Irving for the postseason, are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron and the Cavs. I don't know, I think he could give us a whole game. So how have the undermanned Celts managed to return to the East Finals? Jason Tatum, the rookie, has certainly been a key factor. As I mentioned earlier, 20 points in 6 straight games going in. That was a 7th straight game, tied for the 2nd most by a rookie in NBA playoff history.
The Red Sox David Price diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome, which sounds odd because that's an injury you get from typing. And it turns out video games, which Price, I guess, plays a lot of. So this could be the first ever baseball injury caused by Fortnite. It's a timely reference. A lot of people are playing that game. I should get on that bandwagon. Bottom 3, 2 on for Giancarlo Stanton. He's well-adjusted, and Stanton with at least an RBI in back-to-back games for the first time all season. New York riding a 10-game home winning streak, the longest at new Yankee Stadium. It's the Sox and the Yankees. Yeah, Aaron Judge wasn't even in the picture. Covering all kinds of ground to rob J.D. Martinez of a base hit. Top 7, Hanley Ramirez. Oh, boy, upper decker. 430 feet. The Yankees still down in the 8th. They have 4 come-from-behind wins in the 8th inning or later in the last 2 weeks. Brett Gardner facing Craig Kimbrell. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Gardner puts it over Mookie Betts. Neil Walker scores. Oh, man, I miss Jersey Mike subs. They are delicious. Gleyber Torres, the go-ahead run.
Go-ahead run coming in.
Safe. Gardner with a 2-run triple, and the Yanks take the lead. Next batter, Judge. Hello. Jerk. 2-run shot, straightaway center. 3rd homer given up by Kimbrell this season. Gave up just 6 all of last year. Judge is 9th, caps a 4-run 8th. Yanks come from behind and win again. They've now won 17 of 18 for the first time since 1953.
I remember it well. Okay, stay with me here. Mets and Reds. Here's the bench coaches giving in their lineup cards prior to the first pitch. This is the card Mets manager Mickey Callaway thought he gave to the crew. The focus is on number 2 hitter Will Flores and Asdrubal Cabrera in the 3-hole. Here's Flores at the dish in the first. Sal Romano strikes out the supposed number 2 hitter. And then
the breaking ball from Romano.
Up next, and he flares out to left. And it turns out to be a ground rule double. But wait, Reds manager Jim Riggleman says the Mets had the order between Flores and Cabrera flop. The proper number 2 hitter Cabrera is out. The hit is erased. Cabrera actually 0 for 0 on the play without an at-bat. Jay Bruce, the cleanup hitter, set to go up next, also ruled out. And then we go to the 10th, and Adam Duvall wins it with a walk-off home run. And the Reds take it 2-1.
How does that? Top of the alphabet battle, Astros A's. Garrett Cole, second in the majors in strikeouts, ranks near the top in most major pitching categories in baseball. Bottom two. Watch him paint the corner. In the third, Jonathan Lucroy, sit down. Cole makes Marcus Semien look foolish on that off-speed pitch. He finished with 9 Ks, struck out 16 in his previous start, tied at 1 in the 6th. Yeah, Derek Fisher hit it so deep, the camera person lost it. 447 feet to straightaway center's 4th home run of the season as the Astros sweep the Oz.
And we're walking.
Oh boy, getting ready for Game 7 right now. Everyone, they're setting up their cameras to record themselves watching the game. That's the big thing, right? The reaction shots from home.
I guess.
And the game
I wouldn't know. I'm always here.
The game would have been Wednesday night, but Justin Timberlake had a concert at Bridgestone.
Thanks a lot. Who's opening for him? Chris Kirkpatrick?
Grimes. Winnipeg, they scored 14 times in 3 games in Nashville. Haven't lost back-to-back games in this entire playoffs. The Jets and Preds were given an extra day to get ready for Game 7, but perhaps the biggest challenge with the extra time off, trying not to overthink it.
Yes, it will. Brad Marchand defended his antics throughout the postseason. So are Brad Marchand's licking days behind him? Not if Hollywood has its way. They're spinning the licking saga into a new movie franchise.
He was supposed to be out of licking, a retired licker hanging up his tongue. But when his teammates are kidnapped, he's forced back into the game. And in this game, it's lick or be licked. Brad Marchand is Lickin'. Starring David Schwimmer as Brad Marchand, Bradley Cooper as Ryan Callahan, and a snowbank that refuses to melt as NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. The Hockey News calls Lickin' gross. The Globe and Mail says, so gross. And TSN's Ryan Rashog says, I lick this very much. This spring, no face is safe. Lickin'.
That's going to be a blockbuster.
Hey, the Canes introduced their new head coach, Rod Brind'Amour, Wednesday. Brind'Amour won the Stanley Cup with Carolina in 2006, served as the assistant coach for the past 7 seasons.
Coming up next, the sports awards segment that everyone is talking about. The Jannies are coming up next. It's time for the Jannies. Did you have a bad day at work on Wednesday? Probably not as bad as Angels catcher Rene Rivera. Takes 2 foul tips off his bare right hand in the same inning.
Another foul
He
ball
stayed
back.
in the game. That's the Rivera way.
You got to hide that hand. World Hockey Championship Sweden taking on Austria. Mika Zibanejad. That. Oh, wow. And then goes up top with the backhand. Even nice. No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't.
From that same game, Gustav Nyquist. Patience. Wow. Sweden took this one 7-0. Patience. Gustav Nyquist also on Sweden's World Cup soccer. Mariners Jays Guillermo Heredia. Chopper up the third base line. Russell Martin making his first start of the season at third base. Pretty nice play. Canadian.
Sixers. Celts. Ben Simmons, look at this. Oh, yeah. Oh. So nice. Huge one-handed finish.
And Terry Rozier's #1 fan, Drew Bledsoe, going for the high five and failing miserably. I'm sorry about the high five. Damon Stoudemire is texting everyone he knows and telling them he's about to be on SportsCenter with Jay and Dan next. That was a sneak peek of True North, a documentary about the rise of basketball in Canada, and featured in the film is the Toronto Raptors' first ever draft pick and Rookie of the Year in his first. Damon Stoudemire, how are you, my friend? Great to see you.
I'm doing good.
As I said to him when I walked in, he doesn't age.
No, you really don't. You don't look any different than when you played. What is your secret?
I'm not going to tell anybody that.
Oh, great.
I'm not going to tell anybody that, but I'm excited that you guys have just said I don't look 44 years old. For the people, I'm 44.
That's incredible to me. When you came to Toronto for the first time, what was your impression of the city, basketball in the city? What was your first thought when you first arrived?
You know, when I first arrived, I didn't know what to expect. You know, I figured that 50% of the people knew about ball, liked basketball, and the other 50%, you know, they cared about hockey and, you know, all the other things that went on in Toronto. So, you know, I guess it was my job as as the first pick, and the Toronto Raptors just getting here, you know, being an ambassador. I kind of felt like we were the ambassadors,
right,
for the team and excuse me, for this city. And I just felt like it was our obligation to show them what basketball was all about. And you know, for me, you know, being anointed the face of the franchise, that was a great thing. You know, I was young, I was humbled. I was out here by myself. I didn't have anybody with me my rookie year, so it was just a great experience for me.
We just saw you getting drafted. Do you keep that suit? Do you still have your draft suit?
Truth be told, I can still fit that suit. I still have it.
I bet you can. So you arrive in Toronto in '95. Yeah. If you look back now, how has the basketball scene changed since then?
It's just evolved to the point where, for me, when I look at Toronto, I feel like it's the Mecca of Canada. When you think of basketball, when you think of grassroots basketball, you think of Toronto. And I think that where it's come from when I first got here up until today is just amazing. Obviously, you got the NBA players and all that, but, you know, from my standpoint, being a college coach, you know, you have what we call high majors, you got mid majors, you got low majors, you got sleepers. Like, for this city to have that many prospects, for it to be that many prospects in one place, it's just amazing.
Going back again, Isaiah Thomas was the GM when he was the guy who drafted you.
Right.
He was a Hall of Fame point guard. What was your relationship like with him in that first year you were in the city?
Great.
Yeah.
Mentor to me right now to this day. We still talk a lot. And he was good for my career. He gave me balance. He taught me the ins and outs of this business. And, you know, it was great to come into the league and have somebody, you know, that had a Hall of Fame basketball career, you know, be there for me, playing the same position. So it was great. It was great to have that kind of influence early on.
So you were traded to Portland, middle of your third season. That's just as you got Carter, McGrady, Marcus Camby, all coming into their own. Do you look back and say, man, what if?
Vince was actually after that. He got drafted in '99. That was a strike-shortened season. I think that I would be lying if I didn't say I didn't look back. I mean, I think if you think about the team, in this day and age, if you can draft Damon Stoudemire, come back, get Marcus Camby, come back, get, you know, Tracy McGrady, and then come back and get Vince Carter.
That's nuts.
That would be a pretty good team. You know, the business of basketball, what it was back then, it got us, and it is what it is. But you know, it's all in hindsight. Yes, it would have been a heck of a team.
When was the last time you talked to Jean Tabac?
It's funny you say that. The last time I talked to him was 2010, I think it was, and I was in Spain.
Okay.
And he was over there and he was coaching. He's coaching. He was coaching now. I can't remember exactly what team he was coaching, but yes, it was about 2010.
Amazing.
So you thought I was going to say I haven't talked to him since he left the team.
I'm impressed.
Since we left it's about 2010.
So did you guys reminisce a little bit?
We did.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He was a great guy here. Him, his wife, like, he was a great guy. Like, you know, the memories I have of that first team, they stick out so much because regardless of whatever happens with the Toronto Raptors, that you're always synonymous with the first ever team that this city has. So it's an honor to know that I'll always be a part of history that way.
Do you still follow the team closely to this day?
Honestly, I follow everything about Toronto. You know, from the Raptors to the grassroots. You know, I really do. You know, there's a part of me that'll always be a part of this city. Every time I come back, it's nothing but love. The people I see, still have good friends here. So I enjoy every minute. And yes, I keep up with it when I can. You know, the Raptors are a little hard. It's a little harder for me, obviously, to keep up with the NBA, being in college. But I do keep up with them when I can. More playoff time, but I always keep up with the grassroots level. And everybody down there keeps me abreast of what's going on.
So why'd they lose in 4 straight to the Cavs?
Well, I think that, you know, it was a combination of things, but probably the biggest thing is that, you know, they went against the best player in the world.
Yeah, if you take LeBron off that team, they beat the Cavs, right?
Yeah, but, I mean, you can say that about a LeBron playing on any team in the Eastern Conference, you know, probably would be the prohibitive favorite to come out of the East.
You're coaching now in college.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about a potential coaching change maybe in Toronto. Do you think it would be a good idea? A different voice maybe? There's not much else you can do with this team at this point.
The business of basketball is fragile. I think that the Raptors are a great organization. I think that Masai does a great job. I think that the first thing they'll do is they'll sit back and they'll evaluate everything. I always tell people this, there's no need to make hasty decisions if you don't have to. You got to sit back and you got to evaluate it from just a guy that just watches basketball and just likes basketball. You won 59 games, okay? This is what I would say. As much as you're disappointed, you won 59 games. You know, the Dallas Mavericks won, I think, 62 games, and they lost in the first round to the Golden State Warriors, 1-8 seed. I know you guys remember that. And, you know, you just got to sit back. You got to evaluate which way to go. Yeah. And I think that they'll get it correct. I think Dwayne has done a great job.
And everyone loves him.
Yeah. He's been here numerous years. They got a consecutive run of going to the playoffs. You know, you can't take that for granted because nothing's promised, you know. So I think that you just got to evaluate. You got to sit back. You got to let your feelings kind of deteriorate, and then it got to be perspective with the decisions that you make.
Raptors executives can do that during your 9-part documentary series now streaming on Red Bull TV. It's called True North, and it's also the National Film Board's YouTube page.
Well,
National Film Board's a big deal up here, Damon. That's big money right there.
I tell you, it's a big deal. And let me tell you, one of the more impressive things that you'll see about this documentary, to me, is that you have 5 different levels of kid, okay? And I think that the one thing that Ryan, the producer, wanted to get across is, what if you don't make it?
Yeah.
See, everybody talks about making it, but what if you don't make it? You know, and I always tell my kids and the kids that I coach, don't let basketball use you. Don't let basketball use you. You go into college, get your degree, you know, and the rest of it'll fall into place. But you don't have any control over that. You control the controllables.
Man, it was awesome to talk to you, man. Thank you so much for coming in here.
For sure.
And we got to get you out to dinner right now, right?
Man.
So we'll get you out of here. Natasha Staniszewski is our guest on the Jay and Dan podcast presented by Coors Light. You can check it out on the iHeartRadio app. We asked Natasha if she would take a cross-country trip with Dan O'Toole. The answer may surprise you. Actually, it won't. The answer will not surprise you.
Worst play of the day.
Oh,
I was going to say, no one going to Dodgers games, but it's top of the first. Of course, no one's there. Traffic. Nick Ahmed hits one deep to center. Enrique Hernandez never takes his eyes off the ball. Oh, those D-backs.
Those uniforms. Those like they just they forgot to wash them.
Inside the park home run.
They're just dirty. You Blew It is our popular segment where we point out our many, many errors, but we only had 2 significant ones, according to Andrew Zwarich, who documents these things. I believe I said Chris Kirkpatrick opened for Justin Timberlake. It was the Shadow Boxers, not a real band.
But Chris Stapleton made an appearance at that concert. I know it's a different person, but I just wanted to point that out. Anyway, continue.
And I said LeBron James. It turns out it's not LeBron James after all. It's LeBron James. That's his name, not LeBron James, as I said on this television show, broadcasted across this great country 5 nights a week.
Guess what we're going to have on this show Thursday?
What's that, Dan?
Hockey highlights.
Oh, it's going to be great. Jets, Preds, Game 7. This is where you want to see the highlights. I think they're looking for it.
I got a pretty good snap.
I've got a pretty good snap. The Dan O'Toole.